Hello and welcome to this tutorial on Microsoft Forms. My name's Scott and today I'm going to be taking you through the latest changes in Microsoft Forms. And even if you're new to Microsoft Forms, this is also going to help because I'm going to take you through how to create a new form, how we can share it with other people, both internally and externally, how we can use new design themes and AI features in Forms to improve your form and get it done really nice and quickly as well. And also we're going to show you about reporting, how you can get charts and export to Excel, and even more, how you can even import an existing Word or PDF file and bring it into Microsoft Forms and convert it in just a few clicks. So if all of that is interest for you, let's go ahead into Microsoft Forms and find out how you can best use it moving forward. Now, we would love it before we do that if you hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel if you find any of this video useful to find even more great content and tap the way you work in the future. So let's get started with Microsoft Forms. To access Forms, you can handily go to the waffle or the app launch on the left-hand side of a web browser and head down to All Apps and select Forms. Alternatively, you can browse directly to Microsoft Forms using the web address of forms.microsoft.com, leading you to this experience here. Now, the first area we're going to be looking at is creating a new form, but we're not going to be doing that manually. Instead, we know from our own customers that a number of customers require templates. And Microsoft recently introduced templates into Microsoft Forms, giving you professional surveys and questions that you can use in the click of a button. To use those templates, you can go to the top where it says Explore Templates and then select View All to the right. You'll then see trending templates being used across the world, including the percentage of people using each of those templates. And at the bottom, we also see additional templates we can use, whether that's a holiday party invitation, a post-event feedback survey, or wanting to get feedback on your manager. These professional surveys can get you up and running very quickly without you spending all the time building your survey. So in this scenario, we're going to go and select the Employee Satisfaction Survey. By clicking on one of these templates, we can then see in Microsoft Forms, when it does load here, that we can preview and see all of that detail inside of the Microsoft form. You'll also see this is actually now marked as saved because it's actually been saved for me to work on. That template is now available for me to make any changes to. As we scroll down through the template, you can see a number of pre-configured questions that we can also adapt and change depending on your requirements. So as an example, we might want to add another one of our job roles. So very simply, we can left click into a question here. We now have a further option to add also another job role. So I'm going to go ahead and add a director as a new job role by selecting add option and then writing in the word director. Now, once we've done that, we might feel the director in the topology of these job roles is not quite correct. A senior executive is higher than a director. So very easily, clicking on this small icon to the left, we can actually drag senior executive down, and so that will appear over the top of director. And there we have it. Director is now available for us to select from as well. Again, if we click back into that question, we can also add additional logic. For example, we can mark this question as now being required, meaning anyone who fills in this survey is required to fill in this job role rather than it being an optional question. We can also specify if multiple answers would be supported, but in this scenario, we wouldn't expect someone with a job role to have two job roles in the organisation. So I'm only going to have this as a single option being selected from. In addition, you might also want to have further information to support the question type. For example, we have the question, what is your job role? Which is fairly self-explanatory. What we can also do is add a subtitle by clicking the three dot options and selecting subtitle. When we select subtitle, we can now define a subtitle to appear under this question, providing additional information on how they should fill in the question itself. So I'm going to go ahead and add an additional subtitle so we can see this in our survey. Now we have it. As you can see, we now have a new subtitle. This is your official job role within the company. We can add any information there to support people when filling out the questionnaire. Now, in addition, we might want to drag and drop questions and change the ordering of these questions, and we can also do that without having to delete these questions. All we have to do is hover over the question and we can use left click and then drag it around from our existing question base and move the question around to where we think it may actually be more suited. For example, I might put this as a second question and have the first question of how long have you been in the organisation. Very simple to do, just using left click drag to move around the question, and you'll also see the numbering of each question changes in alignment to where it's placed on the actual survey or questionnaire You won't have to redefine that yourself. This is all great, but you're probably thinking, that's fantastic with pre-configured questions. How can we work in that we want to provide a new question into here? How could we do that inside of this Microsoft form? And also, could we use that in a way where it can also be shown in a specific area on our survey? And of course, the answer is yes. Scroll to the bottom and you will see Add New to begin adding another question. In here, you'll now select the type of question that you're answering, whether that's a choice, a text field, a rating, and so forth. You can actually change each of those depending on your requirements. If you get it wrong, just go to the trash can and click Delete Question to remove that from your Microsoft form. But as we can see, we have a number we can choose from within our Microsoft form. I'm going to go ahead and then add a new text field to capture information as well. And there we have it. Would you like us to contact you about these results? So again, I can left click away from that and now add that particular question. If I click back into it as well, I can also afterwards make further changes, such as making this required, or if it's a long answer rather than just a single line of text, I can specify long answer and do exactly the same as well. As we mentioned, you can also change the ordering of that question. Just drag it around the survey as we've shown previously to change where this also applies in your questionnaire or survey. In addition to that, you'll also see this kind of Thunderbolt button at the bottom of your form, which is a suggestion on a question you can use. And this is because Forms uses AI to analyze your questionnaire or survey and will also provide suggestions on the questions you can enter inside of your survey. If we left click on Question Suggestion, we also have now a range of additional questions we can bring in into our own survey about employee satisfaction. So for example, if we scroll down here, we can see a lot about team building activities, etc. Now, of course, that's not really related to what we want to do. We're not talking about team building activities in this scenario, but I might want to capture the person's full name. So I could then click in full name here. And as you can see, it says Add Selected. Click on Add Selected, and it now adds the full name question. And of course, I can drag that up so it applies right at the start of our survey, capturing someone's full name when they go and then fill in this survey or questionnaire. But you can see how AI can also improve your questionnaire and also use a question bank to pull in the relevant questions without you having to type them and also define them on your survey or questionnaire. Now, with our questionnaire completed, we obviously want to do a bit of design change here. The black and the grey and the white is okay. It's fairly corporate, right? We want to make a few changes here. You'll also find that 5 PM on April 5th, your invited location of the event is also not very specific to what I'm doing with my survey. So I can left click into this tab and I can overwrite this information. For example, I can put additional information on the purpose of the questionnaire or survey so my team can understand a little bit more about it. And there we have it. We've now updated that, left click away, and those changes are made, but that's still not going to win you any design awards. But what you can use again is AI styles of Microsoft Form. This is a new feature to improve the way our surveys actually have engagement with and can also improve the number of people responding to them. I'm going to change it to the office block here with an aeroplane, and you can actually see it changes the formatting. We now get a blue shading, and we also have a dynamic image showing on this form. We can also change that, which again are very dynamic in the way they look and feel. If you're not happy with these though, of course, you can go further down and just select from a bright blue colouring or different colours here. Again, looking very professional in terms of how you want to collect your information, have that actual theme being sent out in your organization. You can even go a step further and you can even turn on background music by enabling background music and selecting one of the music options available in Microsoft Forms if you would like. Of course, that's up to you. I personally would feel music would put me off filling in a form, but of course, some people may want to have that very much if they want to create an engaging survey, questionnaire or quiz inside of Forms. So with all of that done, we now need to get responses right. So we want to add responses from our organization. I don't want to send this externally and have someone external of the organization skewing my results. So what we can do is click on Collect Responses in the top right hand side of Microsoft Forms, and we can now define how we should collect responses. As you can see, the first option is currently not selected. Anyone can respond. If we select anyone can respond, this won't require sign-in, and this survey can be filled in by anyone in the world with a simple web link. But I would prefer that only people in my organization can respond, so they need to have an account within our organization to sign in and access our form. If they don't, they won't be able to get to our form. This also means we can track responses like recording a name and also enforcing there's only one response per person, so preventing the problem of having multiple people respond to the same survey, again skewing your results. We can also define specific people in my organisation can respond, whether that's by name, an email address, or a 365 group you could use to target who should be filling in these responses. Now I'm going to go back and select only people in my organisation can respond, and we're also going to enforce that only one response per person is actually permitted. On the right hand side, and where we have our link, we can see here this is a long link. We can actually shorten this URL by clicking shorten URL, and it shortens it to a very easy to use URL. We can then very simply click on copy link, and we can now copy that into our web browser tab or to an email or even a Teams message and have people fill in that questionnaire by following the link. It also enforces that the organisation are the only people that can fill in, so they'll be prompted to sign in when they actually access this link if they're not already signed into your 365 environment. But it just doesn't end there. That used to be the way we used to always send surveys and questionnaires, but now Microsoft has a new option for an invitation. We can see that an invitation can now be sent to a person, chat, or even Teams channel, or a group of people very easily by typing in their name here. I'm going to go ahead and just send it to one of my colleagues, Megan. We can see we can embed the cover on this invitation. We can also overtype this message here by saying when they can respond to this survey and add further information. I can also define if this is to be sent as an Outlook email automatically, and also whether this should go via a Teams message to these defined people, so it won't just end up being an Outlook email message. I'm going to go ahead and then click on send, and this now will go ahead and send that invitation out directly to Megan using Outlook and Teams. And here we go. We're going to get a reminder saying the message has been sent, which is great. You'll also see at the bottom here, you can get notification messages to help you remind people who have not responded set on this email. And we can also see we can use a QR code. Maybe that will be useful if you have an app in your company, you'd like to share the form via QR code. We can also embed this on a website such as an intranet using embed code as well. But now that's all been done, we're obviously now going to collect the responses directly in this scenario from Megan, but depending on the options I selected, it could be filled in by many people. Now you may be wondering what's the experience like when someone receives that Teams message. So here I'm now logged into Megan's account. We can see a message been posted from Alex, who created this survey, with a link to the survey to get completed. Megan can click on Start Now and the Microsoft form will appear. Megan can then select Start Now on the survey and begin filling in these questions aligning to what I've asked to be completed, including any required fields. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm also going to fill this in on Megan's behalf so we can see the response and how it behaves inside the Microsoft Forms. So we're back logged in Alex's account, and of course I own the Microsoft Forms, so I can go up to responses on the top left and look at the response available from Megan. The good news is that Microsoft Forms uses inbuilt charting capability, meaning we can actually see things in a very visual way. As the Microsoft form begins to get filled out, we can actually see the differences very visually on here that we can share with other people later. We can also even see the responses directly as well. So shall I go right to the top of the screen and actually click on view results here, and I actually click through each of the respondents. So if I know what Megan's responded with in future, I want to see a specific reply from an individual. Again, I could click through the responses and find that relevant result. In addition, I can also open these results in Excel to provide additional reporting capabilities, and of course then send it on to the management team inside of my company for further analysis. And even better, you can see the average time to complete this survey and number of responses being received. Now there may be a time when your form needs to close. For example, this was an employee satisfaction survey and there was an end date. To do that, you can click on the three dot menu, and under settings we can actually set that when this form should be closed. You can see here we have a start and end date, time durations and the like as well. And we can also untick to accept responses, and recipients are not able to fill out and submit this form, and leave a message that this survey has now been closed. So you have the options here to make changes. You can even change the thank you message at the end when someone fills in your survey by clicking the box and then overtyping your response was submitted with a more personalized message to that individual. Not only that, a question we've been asked previously is getting email notifications of responses, because of course it takes time out of your day to come into this form and continually look at all the responses coming in. So we have to simply do is click on get email notification of each response, and that's it. Now you'll get an email every time someone fills in this survey, so you won't have to go back into forms and check it out next time yourself manually. You'll be notified when any of those responses come in. And we're also asked, can we have other people internally be able to collaborate and maintain and review responses of our Microsoft form, not just myself? And the answer is, of course, yes. Click on the three-dot menu in your Microsoft form and then select Collaborate or Duplicate. Within here, you can now add further collaborators by clicking Share the link to collaborate and view results. As you can see, this would invite others to add, edit questions, view responses, and share with others. So only share it with specific people that you want to have that access right to your form. Click into this here, you'll now get the web link to use, and you can copy that web link. Now, as you can see on the top here, there is a specific security requirement with anyone with a 365 work or school account can edit and view the result. That actually I wouldn't want to use. Instead, I want specific people, or at least people within our own organization, to edit and view the results. So you can choose whatever you would prefer, such as organizational wide link that people could use, or further specify it down to just an individual, such as Nestor, who's a director of this company, that he would be able to use this link specifically by copying it and then giving it to Nestor to access and view all of the results as well. Not only that, another option also exists where if you want to use this as a template for the future, so someone loves your survey and wants to use it internally, click on this to get a link to use it as a template, and they can make their own version from the version you've actually created without touching your existing version as well. So two handy options there for you to use inside of Microsoft Forms. But it just doesn't end there. Go back into Forms and there's a few other options we can use in this tutorial. The next options would be actually creating a form from scratch. So if you don't want to use a template, you want to create your own individual form for your own purposes, just click on New Form, and this time we won't be using a template. You can use exactly the same content I actually showed you in today's tutorial to create a new title, actual description, and begin capturing your questions based upon different question types, and begin filling in your questions and also changing your theme. It is very straightforward to build another form for a particular purpose without using a template. And you can do that very simply as well. Another option exists inside of Forms, which has been newly released by Microsoft. We can now import a form, questionnaire, or quiz from an existing file. Now, this does have its own problems. A very graphical survey, quiz, or form would be difficult to import using this process. But I have created a Word questionnaire, and that is relevant to our TikTok community. As you can see, with this Word questionnaire, I could print it and share it around, or I could send an email, have people respond to it individually, but that just wouldn't work. Instead, I'm going to transform this questionnaire and bring it into Forms, have it imported for me, and have Forms do the majority of the work. So I'm going to come out and close out this Word document, so I'm going to browse to it on my local PC. Here I'm going to go and select the survey in the Word format and click Open, and I can now select whether it's a form or a quiz. I'm going to select Form here, and you can now see the system is converting that Word document into a new Microsoft form. When it's done that, we can import another, but I'm going to go ahead and start review. And when we do that, we can see the content has been imported correctly, and all of that content is now ready to be used in a future questionnaire or survey, and it just took less than a minute to bring that in. Now, of course, I'm really happy with this. I might want to choose a specific design by going back into style, and I could use a particular design of my choosing again. But you've just seen how we automated the import of an existing questionnaire or form, bringing it in to Microsoft Forms to begin collecting responses as well. I'd also like to show you where you can access your existing Microsoft Forms. So you go back to the Forms homepage, you will see all of these questionnaires and surveys, quizzes that you've created. So here's my amazing TikTok questionnaire we just created, and there's the employee satisfaction survey also created within this tutorial. All of them quickly available to us on the actual Forms desktop experience on the web. Now you can also access anything shared with me. So if someone shared a form for me to complete, I also have quick access to it as well. And there we have it, Microsoft Forms. That tutorial we've just done has taken you through some of the basics, but all importantly, showed you some of those new features available to you using Microsoft Forms for your next survey, quiz, or questionnaire. We'd love it if you hit the like button if you found this tutorial helpful. Even better, subscribe to our channel for great content in the future. Not forgetting that we have a free Microsoft 365 ebook for you. It's available with a link on our profile, and otherwise we'll love to see you in the next one.